Guys, I think I have a problem. Dwarves have infested my mind, and all I can seem to do is mine ores and shoot bugs. Oh god, bugs. Well, it certainly is the year for killing bugs and for smallish published games, making the AAA games industry look a little bit silly. The latest to do this is Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Let me tell you, easily the best $10, £10, £12, whatever the currency is, I have spent in 2024. This game is awesome. If you've been living under a rock, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is the newest entry in the auto shooter roguelite genre. Think of games like Vampire Survivors and Soulstone Survivors. And I mean, at this point, it pretty much is the survivor genre.
Oh, really?
The biggest draw for Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is the former, Deep Rock Galactic, the incredibly fun PvE co-op game from Ghost Ship Games. They take the dwarves, you take the bugs, and this time you turn it isometric and you have Survivor. The game is being published by Ghost Ship this time round, and the dev team is Fun Day Games. But they haven't missed a beat when it comes to capturing the personality of Deep Rock Galactic and a whole lot more. Survivor's core gameplay is the same as any of the other titles within the genre. Hordes of enemies rush you down, you get XP, upgrades, rinse, repeat. The element that sets each game apart is the flavor, and in the case of Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, they are Guy Fieri cooking in Flavor Town. Funnily enough, one of the core mechanics of Deep Rock Galactic as a dwarf is mining, and this is present here as you get around the map in Survivor. You obtain resources for run-specific upgrades such as gold and nicks, which are used to upgrade stats or weapon level. You can also obtain resources that you can use out of the game, which you can use for permanent upgrades for every run you attempt afterward. I have to say, I really love the mining element here. It presents some really interesting opportunities for gameplay. You can get surrounded quite easily, but having the ability to go through a nearby wall or make your own little tunnel and funnel enemies into there like a kill box is a strategy that I especially used with the engineer to therefore supply endless turrets and gadgets and ultimately become Torbjorn from Overwatch. Gameplay is also spiced up by the fact that you progress lower and lower into the mine system, which acts as run progression. For example, you start off on the first floor, you take on some smaller enemies until you get to the specific progress point on the bar, which then sometimes will spawn either a swarm of enemies, which is quite intense if you're definitely not prepared, and the other is a drop pod. This drop pod requires you to clear out the area and actually mine out an area for it to drop in, and then these can give you artifacts such as XP from mining rocks, or you can get doing more damage based on the amount of gold that you have. There's a lot of cool things here that can shape up your build or change your run, and I've had some interesting possibilities come up, especially with nicks and ramping up my damage when I had a lot of it. The key element of gameplay stays here as it does in all of the genre. When you level up, you get weapon upgrades or stat boosts that you can select from. You can actually re-roll it if you get guns to be able to get the ones that you want. Upon reaching the end of a floor's progression, you are presented with an elite enemy. You would think, killing them and finishing the floor would finish your run, right? You would be wrong. You have 30 seconds then to get into the drop pod after you've killed the enemy. Otherwise, it just leaves and the run ends anyway. It adds just enough tension and just enough risk reward to get a little bit more extra XP before you jump on, get that last level that you may need just to help you get another upgrade. In between floors, there is a shop that you can purchase upgrades with, so mining the gold and the nicks on those floors will allow you to get more upgrades, which is good for dealing with bad RNG. Once you've completed 4 floors, you will get to the Dreadnought floor, which is basically the final boss of a run. Simply kill them.
Jimbo is completely misrepresenting this boss as simple. He is in fact not simple at all, and if not prepared, will kill you in just a few hits, so plan accordingly.
Once you've killed them, it finishes the run, you jump on the drop pod, and there you go, you've completed a run of whatever you are doing. There is just enough here for the core gameplay to be addictive and fun, which is all you need the game to be. which is then further enhanced by classes, weapon selection, and the build variety within the game. There are 4 classes available in early access as we speak, and there is the Scout, the Gunner, the Engineer, and lastly, the Digger. The Scout specializes in mobility and dodging and has a bunch of starting crit damage. They're usually quite fast. There is the Gunner, who specializes in AoE and projectile weapons. They have some cool throwables that you can get, and they also have a little bit more armor. The Engineer, my personal favorite, doesn't start with a weapon initially. You get the ability to put out turrets or a Tesla tower or drones that can go around you. Basically gadgets and things that an engineer would use. Then lastly, the Digger has a buff to mining speed, which means they can get out of sticky situations a lot easier, alongside with the status effects weapons that they have, which are things such as fire, acid, electric, plasma. Every class has just enough variety to make their playstyle unique, and it adds to the fact that there is a few unique weapons that each of the classes have or has access to, meaning builds and build variety are great. And when I say the weapons are awesome, I damn well mean it. Short and long range options with like pistols and shotguns and snipers, turrets and different gadgets that you can use, status affecting weapons like a flamethrower turret, i.e. fire, electric, acid, and then plasma is a really cool effect because it actually bounces off walls that are around, so you can get additional damage all over the place. There's a lot of weapons to customize how you want to play, and I went like a full electrical route with the Engineer at one point, and it is a hell of a lot of fun to see the combinations you can come up with.
But wait, there's more!
Weapons also have their own progression system tied to them with their upgrades. So upon getting your weapon initially, they have to be overclocked first, which means you need to get them to level 12. Once you do that, on the next run that you use the weapon at levels 6, 12, and 18, you will get additional effects that change how the weapon works. For example, take the turret. When you get to level 6, you have the ability for the turret to explode. You can change it to electrical or plasma, or it gets little tire tracks and it follows you around shooting enemies. Then you can get all the way up to 18 with certain weapons and essentially get a massive boost to damage or the way that the weapon works. I've only unlocked a handful of weapons so far, and I've heard there's weapons all the way up until like level 27 on the individual character progression. So each class has the ability to level up. Currently, I have my Scout at like level 9. I think I have the Gunner at 10 and the Engineer at 12, and they get access to more weapons and also different starting buffs. For example, you can get weapons that start at level 3 on the Engineer, so it changes up the build variety. But overall, weapons are awesome. It is easily one of my favorite aspects of the game. I think there's something unique about this genre that just activates my monkey brain whenever I'm playing it, because it harnesses that one more run addictive gameplay that so many other games that I love manage to do. You can check the clock and boom, 3 hours have passed and you didn't even realize. I bought the game last Monday and I was just planning on playing it in between because I'd heard some good things about it. I played it for 4 hours straight on the Steam Deck without even realizing, and it also prompted me to make this video because of how good the game is. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is easily the best money I have spent in 2024, and it's a must play from me. The best thing about this game is that it's only going to get better because it's in early access right now, which means the roadmap ahead is looking fantastic. Taking a look at what they have planned, there's a Bosco droid that goes around you and they want to make him an integral part of gameplay. There's going to be a new biome, which currently there is 3 in the game at the moment. More overclocks and artifacts, more biome mutators, and then they've also said things such as new missions, bosses, stage events, more overclocks and cosmetics, daily missions, assignments, cargo crates, extra classes, and so much more. Even an endless mode would make this game even better because I love trying to see how far I can push builds in this type of genre. With content coming up like this, I don't think I'll be putting this game down as easily as I thought. It's probably going to be a background game. I just play it on the Steam Deck, especially when it's readily available there, and hopefully it comes to the other consoles in the near future, and rest in peace, my productivity. I love being surprised by games, and just smaller games that offer a unique experience and just enough flavor and are just good video games that are just the best. And Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is that, and I implore you to go and play it. If you have, please leave a comment down in the comment section about your favorite thing about the game. If you're planning on playing it now seeing this video, let me know. And as always, leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed this, subscribe if you're new, and this has been it, Shimbo, and I will see you guys next time.